Here we go. And our YouTube channel viewers, we got a real delight for you today. We got our former goalkeeper, 2010 champion, Glyn Thompson. Glyn, thank you very much for joining me today.
No, thanks for having me on.
No problem, mate. No, it's always good to talk about ex-players. Been doing this for quite a few months now, and we've managed to get some good interviews, and it's great to get the take of a goalkeeper. I think you'd be my first keeper, to be fair.
First of many, hopefully.
So I got a list of questions here. So if you're happy, I can crack on with the first one.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so you came through at Shrewsbury. Didn't quite work out so much there, but then you were signed, and not so much it didn't work out, but then you were signed by an emerging, I say emerging, because it was in 1999, I believe, Fulham. You moved on to Fulham, who at the time were really obviously staking a claim to be up in the top leagues. After, I think it was it Mohammed Al Fayed who invested heavily in the club. And at the time, I was going to ask you, well, funny enough, there's two questions in one. First of all, I was going to ask, did you really get a fair chance while you were there after you were signed? And second of all, did you actually get the chance to work with Kevin Keegan before you eventually went on to become the England manager?
No, I did my YTS at Shrewsbury, and it was one of them where we were League Two. Shrewsbury was struggling financially, and it was one of them where I was a younger player that was doing well with the youth team and the reserves, so it was a case of trying to cash in and get as much money as possible. So I was kind of sent on trial to various clubs, and it was a real great experience. I was lucky enough to go to Man United, Man City, Newcastle. I did the rounds, and then went down to Fulham with Peter Benetti, the goalkeeping coach down there. And things kind of clicked, but Keegan had just left. He left in the summer to take over at England. So Paul Bracewell was the manager, and I signed in the October. So I kind of signed there. I was 18. I was 18 when I signed down there, and then went down there, and it was good. It was a massive change from playing at Shrewsbury, living at home, to moving down to London, I lived in Sutton, just outside. Like the main Fulham training ground was kind of Moscow Park, which is not far from Sutton, Kingston. So I lived out there. There was 3 or 4 of us in a house. It was just a completely different experience, and it was good. It all went really well. I went on loan to Mansfield my first year down there. Played a few games, done well. Went back, was on the bench towards the end of the season after Brace had gone, and Karl-Heinz Riedler was in charge. Roy Evans from Liverpool were in charge for the last little block, and then John Tigana come in the summer. Big change. His way of doing things, and me as a younger player just kind of got caught in between of not quite ready for the first team but past the youth team, and I was caught in the middle of it all, and it was a tough couple of years down there because I didn't really progress as they would have wanted to, and me at the time, so it was tough, but that was football. It was just the way it was back then, and I kind of got stuck in between and probably didn't do myself as much justice as I probably should have done.
Yeah, so you mentioned that you're on loan at Mansfield, but then obviously I think it was 3 clubs you went on loan to whilst you were at Fulham. Northampton being the latter, but that's who you ended up signing for permanently. Was the experience with Northampton being there on loan a big factor in signing for them on a permanent basis? Yeah,
it was a crazy time. I went there and we had 3 managers in my loan spell. I got signed under one. He got the sack within a month. Terry Fenwick come in, lasted not a lot longer than a month, and then another one come in, and he was the one that wanted to sign me. And then, but I went there playing well. We were struggling as a team. We ended up getting relegated that year, but I was playing. I was enjoying it. I was living back home and travelling in, although it was a bit of a trek. But I was back to a little bit more familiar surroundings, and I was playing football. And I'd gone 2 years probably at Fulham with playing a few games in pre-season and nothing to playing Saturday, Tuesday again. It was brilliant for me. So I really enjoyed playing. So I just wanted to get back to playing football again. So that's why I ended up signing at Northampton. Again, that didn't kind of go to plan, but it was, for me, football-wise, I needed to go and play. I needed to get into first team football again. And it was good. A real good club, lots of good people, loads of upheaval when I was there with the owners and everything that was going on. But some real good people and good players and a nice place, nice town, good fans. It was a good experience.
So eventually then you went back to Shrewsbury. Unfortunately, you managed to catch them at a point where one Joe Hart emerged onto the scene.
Yeah. So Yeah, I signed. I got released from Northampton. I had a little spell in Denmark, and I was looking for a club. So the goalkeeping coach from Shrewsbury called me and said, "Come in here pre-season. We've got a young lad. He said he's good, but he we don't know. We need somebody to come and challenge him." So I was like, "Yeah, brilliant." So I've gone there, done a couple of weeks pre-season, signed, and you could tell very early on Joe was something special. That he was really, really something that you'd not seen at that age, 18, 19, doing what he was doing. Not just in the game training, he was top draw. Really something that you think, wow, he could do what he wants to do. But the manager said to me, he said, he's 18, 19. He goes, he's never in a million years will he play 46 games this season. He's going to have a dip. He'll have a bit of a wobble. He goes, that's what you're here for. But I didn't get a sniff. I played one EFL trophy game and he was on fire. He had a hell of a year. I was injured a lot. I kind of pulled my father 3 or 4 months out injured as well around Christmas time. So I struggled with that, but I wouldn't have got anywhere near the team anyway. He was unreal that season, and he got his just desserts when he got his big move in the summer. But he was top draw, real top quality goalkeeper at 18, 19, and then he's done everything now. 75 caps for England. He's gone on to be a top quality Premier League goalkeeper. So it was a great experience to be amongst him and see how he worked as a young lad, and it was, but. Me personally, not playing it. It happens. It's football. You get stuck behind certain people, and as a keeper, you've got no choice but to work hard and see what happens. But sometimes you just sniff, and that was the case. But no, I was never going to get past him. He's a million miles ahead of where I was.
So, do you think he would have learned anything from working with you?
Yeah, well, speaking to the goalkeeping coach now, I still speak to Dave Timmins. He's working in Scotland now. I still speak to him regularly now, and he's told me that I was part of the reason I was signing was because I'd done what Joe was going to go through, getting the move and going on to further things. So I'd done that 5 years before with the Fulham thing. So he said not the only reason, part of it was to help Joe deal with what he's going to be going through. But you're working, when you're keepers at a club, you're working together, you work really tight, and you take things from each other. So whoever you're working with, you'll try things that they're good at that you can't do, and vice versa. You always try and work together, and it's a real good relationship. At every club I've been with, every keeper I've been with, it's a real tight relationship with the keepers, and you work hard together, and you push each other and see where they go.
Yeah, you do notice that with keepers. Keepers tend to have a good relationship. A number 1 and a number 2, and then if there's a number 3 there as well, they always tend to get on well. Something I've just noticed from going to games, you see them.
Yeah, I've never had any issues with any keeper being, that I've been worked at any club. There's never been any issue. Everybody knows that you're vying for that one place, and it's the unspoken rule that you're pushing each other to get that one place. But you know that only one of you can play, and if the manager chooses him, then you've got to just get on with it, and you bite your tongue and you work hard, and you get the game out of the way, and you work hard again on the Monday and try and force your way back in the team. But keepers now, you're only going to get a team by a keeper throwing a few in or an injury. So it's tough. Yeah, and I've had a lot more spells than I would have hoped to be sitting on the bench for a long time, and it's tough. But that's the nature of playing in goal and being a keeper. Yeah, just get on with it.
So then, moving on to Chesterfield, then was it a similar sort of experience? Were you obviously on the bench there more often?
I only signed there as cover. I was there towards the end of one of the seasons. I signed there just as cover, and it was just because I didn't have a club, so I was looking for somewhere to train. I almost went back to a Norwegian team, but then I got a phone call from Chesterfield, and my little boy had just been born. So it was one of them where I had a choice of going to Norway or to have a little crack at Chesterfield. So it was an easy decision. So I was only there just for training, and then ended up playing one game end of the season. But yeah, you're working with different people. It's just a different opportunity for me, but it didn't work out the way it is.
I suppose different experiences, you can learn different things, and they may bode well, for your future then.
Yeah, it's just working with different people, and it was just an opportunity. You never know in football what happens. You go somewhere with a chance of getting something, you can get turned away, or things click and you end up being there for a long time. It's just the way it is.
So that sets us up nicely to 2007 when you eventually moved to Newport. Would you say that the offering of regular football, because it would have been a jump down for you to come to Newport, would you say that the opportunity to play regular football was a key factor in you moving to us?
Yeah, it was massive. Yeah, because I'd had a year at Hereford just before as well, so I'd done probably 2.5 years of not playing regular football, and not playing anywhere near the amount of games that I'd had. And I'd had a few injuries, and I just wanted to play. So wherever it was, I wanted to play. And then I spoke to Pat Mountain, was a goalkeeping coach at Hereford. So I spoke to Pat about Newport, and obviously he's a Newport legend. He's been there and done it. So Pat had come in, and then when I spoke to Peter Beadle, he when I first got in contact with him, it was a no-brainer. Come and play football for a team pushing top end of the league, wanting to go up to the next level and beyond. It was an absolute no-brainer. It was a real exciting project to be part of.
Mm-hmm. So then, obviously, you joined in 2007. In 2018, Oldsworth then joined the club as manager. How did that impact yourself, and how did you see it impact the club when he came on the scene?
Yeah, well, Dean had a real tough first year, and it kind of gets forgotten. I think it was a big learning curve for him and for a lot of the players, and some of the players that he brought in. He tried to change a lot, because with Beads, I think the squad was aging. We had a lot of older players. Yeah. You know, with Jules and Jason Bowen, Damon Searle, James. There was a lot of no disrespect, older players. I think Dean came in and tried to shake it all up and lower the age of the squad, and it was a real tough year. And it was a grind at times. It was tough. He was great from right from the start. Really positive about the players. Really keen to improve everything about what was going on. Kick on from because with Bees it was real professionally run anyway. We trained well. Things were done properly. I think Dean came in and tried to take it to the next level again, and I think we found it tough at first. And I think it was probably February, March time. It was looking quite grim at times. I think the fans were having a bit of a pop. It was a tough spell, but things just kind of clicked. He started to get some players in that were good for the group, and things just started to click. And I think we lost one or two from February time to the end of the season, and we ended the season really well. Yeah. And I think the squad got kept together following into the next season, and he brought in 3 or 4 real good signings at the start of the year we won the league, and everything just seemed to click. But I think it's just a real learning curve for all of us. New manager, new players, big turnover in the squad. But Dean's always positive about the players. He always is, still is now. He's always really positive about the group that we had, and it's just finding that right blend on the pitch to kick us up the league.
So he recruited some really good names. If you consider, I spoke to Paul Bignott in my last interview. We were talking about the caliber of player he brought in, obviously for the start of the 2009-2010 season, which quite obviously I will get on to now shortly. We were talking about the like Sam Foley, Danny Rose, Craig Reed, Biggie himself, Gary Warren, players who went on and played at such a high level in the end. He just seemed to find perfect mix of players, and that move for them seemed to do them a lot of good as well.
Yeah, I think there was a lot that come in with similar, just wanted to play football. I think whoever come in just was either, obviously you move club for a reason. You're coming in because you weren't playing the games that you wanted to. And I think everyone, when Biggie come in, top draw fullback in the conference and above, played league football, real high caliber standard of player. Reed had been around, scored goals. Sam had done the same, played in the league, scored goals. Rosie was unbelievable ability. And a real good blend of characters as well. Real focus on winning games and good around the dressing room. Yeah, Gaz come in the summer, then Jamie Collins come in a couple of months later on. Real good characters and winners that wanted to do well and wanted to win and enjoyed playing football, enjoyed playing for the club as well, and enjoyed the atmosphere around the place, because it was a real. The bunch of lads are unreal. It's a hell of a group that we had. Just the closeness that we had, the bonds that everybody had. It was a real tight group. And that, like I said, probably started towards the end of the season before, and it just followed all the way through. It just clicked, and it was a hell of a place to be that kind of 18 months or so. Yeah.
So the 2009-2010 season, what did that mean to you personally as a player?
It was a hell of an experience. Just an experience that is one you just don't forget, because it was just, you go through the whole season of losing one game until we actually won the league. I know we had a bit of a couple of wobbles after, but losing one game, going on run after run where we're just winning games, not conceding goals, battering teams, enjoying training, just being part of the group. It was a real good experience, a great experience, like life experience, just enjoying being around the boys and in enjoying going to work. And for me, having to drive 2 hours, 2.5 hours, meeting up with the boys in Kidderminster and in Worcester and getting in the car and having a banter on the M50 on the way down. It was just an enjoyable time to be around football and be around the boys.
Perfect. So obviously you guys were rewarded very well at the end of that season. Did you go to Vegas? I've dropped myself into a couple of times of players who didn't go, but
I think everybody went. I think everybody went, didn't they?
Kerry Morgan didn't go,
right?
And
okay.
I don't think Tim
Swansea. I think he had to go back to Swansea or something, didn't it?
Something like that, yeah. Then who else didn't go? I can't think. There was somebody else who I spoke to who said that they didn't go. I asked them how Vegas was, and they said, "Oh, I didn't actually get to go." I'm like, "Oh, sorry."
Okay, no, I thought everybody went. It was one of them where I think it got mentioned. Really, like, it was a real odd because Vegas was a song in the change room all the time, and I think the chairman said something at the start of the season about something about the bonus for the end of the season. He'll put so much in the kitty for a win, and because it started so well, all of a sudden the money was adding up, and then the Vegas thing got through in, I don't know when, but after every win it was Vegas in the change room. Vegas was being played, and I don't think the chairman or the directors could get out of it. I think it was just said, and it was just rumbled on, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and I don't think there was any way of them getting out of it. But that just topped off the whole season, because I think it was just everything going so well, and then to finish it off with 4 or 5 days going away with everybody, it was a great way to finish that year. And I think with that, all the staff were there, Gilly and Bob and all them were there. It was just a great way of getting everyone together, because it like I say, it was a unique time for all of us. I don't think anyone has experienced that in football again, to actually smash a league and to do it with people that you really enjoyed playing with and being around. I think it was a special time for the group of players and for the club as well.
Yeah, no, it certainly was, mate. Obviously, we went on to the next level. Obviously, it was a level that I've been away from. I think it was 23 years. Obviously, the conference.
Yeah.
Obviously, between 2010 and 2011, obviously you had 4 managers. Was it difficult to operate as a player with such transition at the time?
I think it was when Dean left. I think that kind of shook everybody. I think it took a little bit of adjusting. I think he was like us as players, and like some of the players did, when you get an offer from somebody in the league above that have got, it's a different challenge, and you fancy your chances and you back yourself and you've got the confidence to do what you want to do. I think people are going to take it, and I think as the group I think we struggled to adjust to that, and I think we nosedived a little bit that year. And then I think we picked up when Anthony come in. I think we picked up towards the end.
We finished strongly that season, yeah. I mean, we couldn't be, the move. I mean, it's not just one league up, but it's going from non-league to football league. Couldn't begrudge the move, and it was a shame, because I think a lot of the players we've spoken to felt that promotion could have been on the cards again. Considering where we were at the time.
I think we're probably when we kind of second or something over the Christmas period, something like that. I think we're flying again, and I don't know exactly when he left. I think we probably evened up, but we're probably still around the playoffs, I think, when he left. But like I said, if you get the offer to go to be a league manager, I think everyone was exactly the same. Going, fair play to him. He deserves a chance. He's done so well here. So it was one of them good luck to him. I think as players, I think all players would be the same. I know fans always see it differently and stuff, but from a player and a manager point of view, I think he fancied challenging himself at the next level, and he wanted to take that. But I think that's his decision. Everyone's different, but I think we were on course. I think we'd have been in and around the playoffs, I think, that year, if it would have all stayed together. But football changes so quickly, you just don't know. So when opportunities come up, you're going to have to you take them. You just don't know how things are going to end up. But no, I think we finished it well. I think it was one of them where you look back and think maybe we might have had a bit more of a go of it if things might have happened a little bit differently. But you just don't know in football, so you just got to go with it and you just roll with it.
I mean, at the beginning of the season, we would have taken it, though, wouldn't we? First back conference, yeah.
I think we took 2 or 3 games to adjust to the level when we got promoted. But I think as soon as we settled down and got a couple of results, I think we thought we could hold our own with the vast majority. And there were some big hitters in that league at that time.
Yeah.
So to be in and around where we were, I think it was not a bad start. I think it was a decent start, decent platform to build on. I know we had a bit of a wobble the year after, but I think it was a decent platform for the club to build on and kick on.
Yeah, because I mentioned 4 managers, obviously meaning Holdsworth, then Tim Harris, and Anthony Hudson, and then obviously Anthony lost his job at the beginning of the next season, and then that introduced Justin Edinburgh.
Mm-hmm.
So how was working with Justin for you that season?
It was mixed, to be fair, because I was in and out, and it was mixed. But he was good to work with. He was really honest, and that's all you want as a player. You want honesty, and I think he come in at a time when the club needed a little bit of shaking up. I think he was a great appointment to come in. He'd been in the league, he'd been non-league, he knew how to deal with players, he knew how to get the group together, he knew what the club needed and what the club didn't need. I think he was a real good appointment. Me personally, because I wasn't playing, you think you never think too positive, but you look back and he was exactly what we needed at that time to get us out of trouble. We'd not started well. Me personally, I had a few run-ins with the manager and not playing and maybe leaving and stuff in that summer. But Justin come in and just got the boys together, and he made us realise what we need to do to get out of trouble, and it clicked, and he moved people out. He got people in, got good characters in, got players in that had been around that league before, and that players that he knew and he could trust. And we soon moved away. I think as soon as he'd settled in, I don't think there was any danger of us actually going down. Although it might have been a little bit tighter at some points, but I don't think there's any danger of us going down. I think he'd got the club and the team in a way that we weren't going to get beaten, and if we had to grind it out, we could grind a few results out to get away from trouble.
Yeah, I know you said, because I remember at the time that you weren't playing as often as you probably should have. Here's a good one for you. I don't even remember the name of the goalkeeper that was brought in by Anthony Hudson. I think was achieved by the supporters. I don't even remember his name. I can't even think.
Yeah, Potts coming in the summer. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, it just goes to show. I mean, you're remembered by pretty much every Newport County fan, and there's been a lot of people that can't even remember him.
Yeah, it's because it was a strange one. Because I was back in this when Anthony came in. I was playing. I was doing okay. I think I'd started the season well, but then kind of tailed off. I was doing all right, and then I just got a phone call in the summer just saying that we're going to go down a different route. I was like, not a problem. It happens. So yeah, I had a few issues pre-season regarding training and stuff, and whether I come in and whether I don't. But it was just a strange. For me personally, that was a real strange time with what was going on. I think the club was going from part-time to full-time. I couldn't commit to full-time because I had other commitments. Mm. So it was a strange time, and I think Anthony needed a little bit of help and a bit of guidance from the people around him with how he dealt with one or two things over pre-season. Not just with myself. I think there was a couple of other boys that were in a similar situation.
Yeah, Chris Todd was in a situation, wasn't he?
Say again, sorry.
Chris Todd was one of them, wasn't he?
But he was. I think Robbie Matthews was as well, the big striker that had come in. I think he was similar as well, and it was just a bit of a strange time, and it had gone from being like the year before, like a massive high of we've done this, and we've won the league, and with the boys are flying, we're all together, and a year later, I know football, it happens in football, everything had just gone white clean straight away, and it was a strange time, but the club was in a big transition, going from part-time to full-time is huge, and finding the best way of doing it, I don't think it's impossible to find the best way of doing it, especially when you've got players that are on contracts that are going from one to another. So it was tough, but yeah, Potts coming. Me and Potts got on all right. To be fair, we did all right, and I think me and him virtually shared the start of the season, and then I come in January, and then Darlow come in towards the kind of the latter part of the season. So it was a strange, for me, that was a real strange, odd year, the whole 12 months. It was a strange time.
Because I was going to come on to Carl Darlow. Obviously, you got to work with him while he was young, on Nottingham Forest at the time. Do you feel you had much of an influence on him? Do you think he may have learned something from you?
No, I don't think so. He was good. Man, I like working with Carl Darlow. He's a good lad. I've seen him a couple of times since when he was just before he left Forest to Newcastle. He's a real good lad, real genuinely good lad, good character, and it's great to see him go on and have the success he's had and play in the Premier League. Because I think when he first come in, you're obviously a little bit disappointed. You look over your shoulder when someone comes in on loan. but he was just he's a nice lad, a real good lad, and it's great to see him go on and have such a really good career and have a Premier League career. It's brilliant for him.
Yeah, of course, mate. But the one thing that you got to do though was Wembley, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wembley.
Yeah. So, I know. It seems as though you've had a bit of an up and down time when it comes to playing and things like that in your career. But surely this has got to be up there as one of the bigger highs of your career, getting to play at Wembley.
Yeah, playing at Wembley is a huge honour for anybody and anyone who plays and grows up, especially kind of growing up watching cup finals and for me playing the trophy was brilliant because I live in Telford, so I went to watch Telford in the trophy final in 1989. My brother was a scholar there, a YTS there, so I was down there then. So the trophy was kind of a big thing for me because I'd seen Telford win it, and it was just one of my first football memories was Telford winning the trophy. So to be in and around it and be within a chance in a Wembley final, it was brilliant. And playing at Wembley it's what every kid dreams of when they grow up playing football. So it was a huge achievement, and it's a shame things didn't go better on the day, but it was a huge achievement to actually get there, and especially the season we're having to kind of scrape a Wembley run together and a cup run together was brilliant. A great achievement for us.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great way to end the season on a high and give the fans the day out that they deserved. But then at the same time, for yourself, it was a good way to sort of sign off as a Newport player. Then I take it.
I knew I was leaving probably from 12 months before when Anthony come in. I knew I was leaving the club at the end of the year. So to finish off at Wembley with all the fans that had been there and not forgetting the nights when we were playing in front of 500, 600, 700 people at Splitty Park, and then all of a sudden you're finishing it at Wembley 5 or 6 years later in front of I don't know how many were there. It was
20,000, wasn't it? So
a great, it was a nice way to kind of finish it all off. It was brilliant, and it's a nice little taster for you boys ready for the year after when you actually seal the deal.
So I take it you obviously still watch our results and things like that and root for us.
Yeah, it's I've been down a couple of times. I come down to see the Leicester game when you knocked Leicester out, so I was down there for that, and then because I'm working with the 23s at Leicester, I was down for the EFL Trophy games last year. So so I've been down a couple of times. So not been good occasions for myself professionally, but for you guys, it's always worked out well.
Oh, I mean, since we've been back in the league, we've had some really, really, really high points, and unfortunately, a couple of low seasons, which ended on the highest of highs, as you can imagine, with a great escape and everything. But obviously, talking to some of the players that were there, obviously getting us into the conference, which was the final step then to get into the Football League. It must have been a difficult watch for you that season, that Great Escape season, to think that all that work that you guys have put in to help get us there could have been sort of, I wouldn't say wasted because you still got good memories, but that Football League dream was sort of ending, potentially on that season. So it must have been nice to see us get that over the line.
Yeah, it was strange because it's when I first come in, speaking to Beads when I first come in, it was all about getting the club out of the Blue Square South or Conference South, whatever it was called. It was all about getting us up to the conference. That was a huge thing, and I think it was all that was spoke about, and the ambition was always. We'd missed out on the playoffs the year before I signed. I think on the last day, we ended up doing it the same like Beads last season. But it was all about we have to get out of this league, and then to finally do it and get there, and then to see the club kick on and get into the Football League and the euphoria and everything that all the fans would be absolutely buzzing over. To see it potentially ending a lot sooner than you would have liked, it would have been a real shame. But with the way it all turned out, it turned out to be another great story in the history. So it turned out great. And it's a great story for you guys to kind of go with. And it's a good story.
Because during the pitch invasion, because as you probably know, we had Craig Reed playing for us and Paul Bignut that season, and Craig Reed was sort of stood there looking lost on the pitch, and I went in and reminded him, said, we're only here now because of people like you getting us out of that Conference South League. Mm-hmm. Well, obviously that goes for yourself and Biggie as well. So obviously the thing with Kane, obviously we move along with the times, but we certainly don't forget. I can guarantee you that. So obviously
it was a huge thing. It was like I said, it was a huge thing when I first came. That was the thing. You've got to get out of this league. Been in the league for so long, and I don't know how many years you were in that South League until we got out of it. But that's what I was told. We have to get out there. We have to be at least a conference team, and then you see where you go. But the ambition is always you've got to see how far that you can take the club, and it's it was great to get there, and it was a great story to get there. But you've gone on and kicked on, and now you've been an established League Two team that are having a real crack at being in and around the playoffs, which is a massive achievement.
No, it's great. It's great to see your take on how things are going now. You know, players like yourself. You know, it's great to hear from you. So after us, then you played for Worcester for a while. How was the experience playing there then?
Good. I really enjoyed Worcester. It was a strange one because I after I finished at Newport, I was my last 3 or 4 years at Newport. I was coaching. I was doing a lot of coaching. I was working at colleges. I was working at Shrewsbury, little bits at Wolves, like loads of coaching. So there was a chance after I finished Newport of me going properly full time into coaching. So when that didn't happen, you know, I ended up going to Worcester, and Worcester was a real good experience. It was a very similar club to Newport. It's a real established, traditional club, you know. And we played there when Newport had been up there. We played a couple of Monday nights up at Worcester, and it was a real old school ground. It felt like a proper non-league ground, proper football club. And they were similar. It was like, right, we've got to try and get out of this league. We've got to try and push on, but we didn't quite have the resources and the quality in the squad to do it. And we had a little sniff of the playoffs, but it didn't quite happen. But some real good people. I'm still in contact now that are there. So I had a year there, and it was enjoyable. It was different playing in the northern part to the Conference South to Conference North to Conference South. It was strange going all up north compared to going down to the Braintree and Eastleigh and all places like that. But it was different, and it was good. It was a good year playing some more football. It was nice.
So obviously you're retired now from playing. So I gather that you're in. I was going to ask you what you're up to now, and ask you if coaching's on the cards. So obviously, from what you've told us, yeah, you're in coaching now. I take it.
Yeah. So after I finished at Worcester, that was my last year. So I got because I was doing all the coaching, I got the offer to go to. I ended up going to Thailand for 6 months coaching over there. Yeah. So I moved to Thailand in the summer of the season that I finished at Worcester. So I ended up going there for 6 months, and then I come back Christmas time, and then I've been at Leicester. I'm working at Leicester with the under-23s and the under-18 goalkeepers. I've been there ever since. So I've been there 6.5 years now, coming up to 7 years.
Brilliant. It's a great club to be at then.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. Yeah, some, again, real good people. Been fortunate that we've had a lot of success. The first team had a lot of success with since I've been there, with getting promotion and again, great escape, winning the league, Champions League. There's been some real good stories going on. And the odd bad one as well, but it's been a real good club to be around, and we've had with the academy boys, we've had some decent success with players breaking in. So we've done all right, and the club's developing. Great manager, moving into a new training ground, settled squad. So it's a good place to play.
Yeah, because obviously when Leicester came down, obviously you would have come down that night for the game. The group that this YouTube channel is sort of formed, it basically with a supporters group, and this is just our official YouTube channel. Actually paid money out and designed a banner for Vichai.
Oh, okay, that's a nice touch.
And we actually basically we got in touch with a Leicester fans group, and we met them outside the ground at the end of the game, and handed the banner over, and they said they would find somewhere in the King Power for it to to give it at home and everything like that. So I wasn't sure if you were aware that we did that.
No, I didn't know because so obviously when the helicopter coming down and the chairman passing away, it was a massive shock for everyone at the club and the players and the whole community. The amount that he did for the city was unreal. And I think more and more comes out the longer after he passed. It was a horrible thing that happened, and I think that his legacy is how tight the club is. It's a proper family group, and the fans are so respectful and appreciative of what the chairman did for the club, and I think other football fans like yourselves are aware of the amount of stuff that he's done, and he runs it as a proper family club. He loves the city, loves the supporters, loves the players. And it's a real tight group, and it's great that the whole of football come together to pay their respects to him when the helicopter come down. It was a great touch that everybody did.
Because what our banner actually read was, "Thank you for making us believe that anything is possible." I mean, who would have thought Leicester would win the league?
Yeah, nobody.
Before, and then to win the league, with a striker bought from non-league, being a talisman. I mean, Unbelievable.
Yeah, Jamie Vardy was playing against us when we were up at Fleetwood when I was there.
Right.
When we got promoted, he was in that team.
We thumped 4-1, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. It was it was just it's a crazy story of what the chairman did to the football club and what everyone around the club come together to produce. It's an amazing story that it's highly unlikely anything like that will happen again. So the fact that the whole of football is paying their respects to him, and like you guys did with the banner, and it's brilliant.
Yeah. So I'm on my last question. It's the question I ask everybody now. Who's the best player you played with and the best you played against? And I got a feeling that the best player you played with may come out from this, from people we've spoken about in this interview, unless there might be one or two others.
From Newport?
Or no, just within your career.
Newport's an easy one. It'd be Rosie, Danny Rose.
Yeah.
Because he was like the ability that he had with his left foot and just on the ball, he just controlled games. He was a top player, and he's gone on to have a great career and play probably hundreds of league games now. So he's he was a one that probably made us tick more than any other player in the time he was down there. He was hell of a left foot. So is there a gifted player?
Any others from any other clubs that you played at?
Yeah, well, I've been lucky from goalkeeping point of view. I've not played with them, but being around them with like Joe Hart at Shrewsbury. I was at Fulham. Van der Sar was there. Marcus Hanneman, Mike Taylor. I was really fortunate with them. Outfield players. Yeah, obviously the Fulham times were. We had the likes of John Collins, like a Scotland legend, Louis Saha, that went on to Man United. Players like that, they're top draw. But I wasn't in the first team playing games with them, but they're the ones that I was in and around every day and trying my best to try and get up to their level. I was nowhere near it, but they're the ones I was around every day, trying to hang on to their coattails a little bit. But that was a completely different level.
Of course, yeah. So what about against? Who was the best player you played against?
I made my debut against Neville Southall when I was at Shrewsbury. I played the last game of the season. He was at Torquay, so he was kind of coming to the end of his career. But yeah, Neville Southall was the one, because as I was growing up, he was one of the big hitters in the top league. He was the one that everyone used to try and copy and make saves like he did. So to make my debut as an skinny 18-year-old against Big Nev, who was big in a little bit, it's that was a huge honour, and he's top draw.
Big Nev, bloody hell.
Big Nev's a man, Welsh legend.
What a legend, Yeah. Oh, well, that's all I got for you then, mate. So, I really appreciate your time, mate. It's been great catching up with you. And I'm sure that the fans who watch this, would enjoy hearing about your career and your time at Newport. No, that's great. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot.
All right. Cheers, mate. We'll speak again soon, okay? Take care.
Bye. Thanks a lot.
Bye. Many thanks for watching the latest content on the Amber Army channel. Please make sure you leave us a like. Make sure you subscribe for more content, both for the neutral football fan and also plenty of Newport County. Even more Newport County content can be found on the club's iFollow channel on the link above. It is just £4.49 per month to subscribe to that service. And those of you feeling extra generous can also support us on Patreon on the link at the bottom there. That would be a monthly donation of your choice. Thank you again. Make sure you've subscribed, and as always, up the county.